So what's prompting? Prompting is really the process of working and explaining and interacting with large language models. It's the way that you ask questions, it's the way that you get answers back, that you iterate on, responses and get an output that is correct, that helps you with your task, that gets you the information that you need, that really allows you to leverage LLMs for what they're really good at. So let's get into it. I'm going to open up ChatGPT here in an instance, and I'm going to ask my first question, which is a very basic question, but what is Mercury? Tell me about it. Very basic question, very basic prompt, right? That I'm going to ask ChatGPT. And what you're going to see back in the response from ChatGPT is sort of the ambiguity of my prompt and how open-ended it's going to then determine how to answer that, right? And so it's going to answer back with Mercury is an element, right? A chemical element. And it's also a planet, right? And it's going to give me information about that, right? And there's other things that Mercury could relate to that I am actually asking about or I'm not, right? In this instance, I'm going to ask about the planet in the solar system and I want to learn more about it. And so, when I ask that prompt, tell me about Mercury, it doesn't know what Mercury and it doesn't know what I want to know about it, right? Because the prompt is very generic. And so it's going to make its own determination of what to answer with. And so one of the quick things that I can edit with sort of my prompt is give it a little bit more context, right? More information about what I'm specifically want to know. So here's like sort of the next version of my prompt, which is tell me more about Mercury, the planet. Focus on its characteristics and attributes, which I want to learn more about. And then I also want to know about how long it would take to go from Earth today, right? And so if I run the second prompt, which is a little bit more focused, with a little bit more detail of what I'm actually trying to learn about, it will actually go through and give me information, right, about Mercury itself. So, an overview, proximity to the sun, its temperature, its atmosphere, magnetic field. And then it's going to also do some calculations around how far it is, historical emissions, and really summarize that back for me on the table, right, to get all the detail that I want. Great. So as you can see, right, just by giving it a little bit more indications of what I actually want, I can actually start to get the AI to tailor, its response back to what I'm expecting, back to what I'm actually looking for in a faster way. And that really is the process of prompting, right? And getting down to the brass tacks, right? Of what you're really looking to understand through additional context, through additional words, right, that you can kind of explain to the AI to get back into sort of, some place that's actually useful for what I'm looking to do. So if I take this concept and I apply it to sort of finance, right, and our workflows, then that's something that I can kind of take and sort of work with. And so if I open up Concourse, which is an AI agent that is connected to your core data sources, so your ERP, your database, your bunch of systems of records, and allows you to basically query and work with that data, right, and help you with your day-to-day tasks. And so if I ask my first question here, right, which is what is my revenue? Again, pretty open-ended question. And I focus that on, an ERP like NetSuite that I have connected here, right? Same concept really applies in the sense that the AI is going to need to understand what revenue is, right? But it might have some ambiguity in terms of how to respond to that, right? Is it this month? Is it this year? Is it annualized? Is it these accounts? Does it include interest income? And in fact, when I ask most finance teams that question across multitude of finance leaders and team members within a team, I actually get different answers, right? Some people, again, will sort of come to different ways of calculating revenue, even though that should be pretty a basic, question, but it actually has a lot of nuance involved into it. And so the thought of working in terms of prompting and getting the route output is how to tailor your question, how to tailor the context that you're giving the AI to really get to the right answer that you're looking for to actually answer the question or help you with your day-to-day workflows. If revenue is including accounts that you don't really want, then like you need to be able to tell it to that, or you understand right what it's doing, and so that it can give you the right answer. If you're trying to find an annualized metric, then you need to explain more about how it's going to do that. Otherwise, the AI is going to kind of think through its own thought process, right, and make the call on how to answer that question for you. And so as you can see here, we've got kind of a basic answer in Concourse right around revenue. And we have actually 23 revenue, we have 24 revenue. It actually created a table as well, right, and how to answer that for us. And sort of gave us that answer back, in a few seconds. Great, that's helpful. But if that's not what I'm looking for, right, and I'm actually looking for only 24 revenue and I want a chart of it, right, and maybe I actually want to understand more about the accounts that are underlying and underpinning this question, then I actually need to prompt it, right, and I need to tweak my question to give it that additional context. And so here, what I'll do in Concourse is I'll come in here and basically rewrite my prompt, right? And so what I'll say is, what is my monthly revenue for 24, right? And then I want to break it down by month, by account, let's just say, for the year. All right, I want to break that down by account. And then I also want to create a chart, right, for monthly revenue by product line, right? And so that's going to be my next prompt, right? In terms of more detail in terms of revenue that I'm really looking for, and a specific output as well, right? I want a specific data table. I want a specific chart. And if I run that, then, similar process here in terms of how the AI is going to interpret, right, my question, the additional context that I gave it, right, and how I prompted it to give me more information that's more tailored to what I'm looking for. And it will give me a better answer, right, in terms of more specifically looking at the output and the answer that I'm really looking for to help me, with sort of the analysis that I'm, trying to provide. And so here in a few seconds, it's going to go through a thinking process and then sort of output back an answer, right, that will help us, sort of answer this specific prompt. And so once it goes through its thinking process and provides an answer back to my new prompt with some tweaks to it, you could see that it really sort of enhances the information to really tailor it back to what I was asking for, right? Both in terms of the analysis that it's doing and the output that I want. And so specifically here, right, we've gotten more information about revenue per month, some key statistics, and a data table, right, with revenue per month for all of the accounts that I have associated with my revenue, accounts. And so, breaking it down a layer further, only focusing on 24 data as I had asked, and then some charts, right, around sort of that data and information to try and really visualize that, right, in the way that I had asked for it to understand, sort of this part of the business and really narrow in on 24 and revenue sources, right? It also created some CSVs of that data so that I can manipulate that outside of Concourse if I want to. And so really the goal, as you can see here with prompting, is the more detail we give the AI, both in terms of the analysis that we're doing and the output that we want to see, the more it will tailor its analysis, right, to really show what we want to see. And prompting is sort of this art and the science of being able to understand how does an LLM process information, return back information, right? What is its thinking? And, sort of the art maybe side of things, which is more about how can I sort of explain the way that I'm trying to do something, right, to an AI, the same way that I might explain someone else to, something, how to do something to a person, and really sort of translate that back into an output that I am satisfied with and that I can use to, enhance my, day-to-day work, my tasks that I'm at hand, right, and move faster on those things. And so prompting really is sort of an iterative cycle, right, of trying to understand how the AI interacts with your information and how to really get the output that you need. Maybe a last thing that I'll kind of show you, as we sort of end this video on prompting is sort of the ability to really have open-ended prompts and kind of the beauty in that as well, right? And so here's a prompt that's very generic as well, but more open-ended, and actually is very helpful for me to understand my business a little bit better. And so my prompt is, can you share more interesting insights about my 24-inch revenue? And, I've got sort of, what does interesting mean? What does trends mean, right? Very open-ended. But an LLM can actually take that and process your information, your data, and then bring back trends behind your business, right? And so here's like, give me some monthly trends. And then it goes into some insights, right? Distinctive peaks and valleys, quarterly trends, concentration, right? Business model insights, some seasonal pattern, diversification, right? And so really those are some of the things that maybe I knew about my business that it's surfacing for me. And maybe there's some stuff that I didn't know, right, that it's surfacing. And now I have a jumping off point to do more analysis, to provide that back to business leaders, management. And so, the ability to have prompting, as we saw, give me a specific output, a specific analysis that I'm looking for is great and is a feature, right, of LLMs. But it's also being able to prompt in an open-ended way and work with an AI like you would with someone on your team and sort of use it for investigative work and insightful work is kind of the other piece of things. So, hopefully this is kind of a helpful tutorial on prompting and how to sort of really work with LLMs, what people mean by prompting, and how to really start to get the right output. The best way that I recommend working on your prompting skills is to just start interacting with LLMs, right? Whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's, specific finance tools like Concourse, and to just iterate, work with it, and really fine tune your craft, because I think that prompting is going to be one of the key skills that sort of hiring managers, teams, leadership, and, sort of companies are really going to base themselves off over the next 10 years. Thank you so much.